Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our information session today. You are in the right place for the Master of Advanced Study in Engineering. We'll get started in just a few moments. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we're just letting a few more participants trickle in this morning, and we'll get started in just a moment. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today and for your interest in Berkeley Engineering's new online master's program. My name is Joelle Miles. I'm the program director for the Master of Advanced Study in Engineering at UC Berkeley, known as the MASE. In this information session this morning, we're going to get started off with some introductions. We're going to give you an overview and some updates on the MASE program design and curriculum. Excuse me. My colleague Beth will be sharing some tips for putting the finishing touches on your application to help you meet our April 1st deadline for fall enrollment. And finally, we will save some time at the end of our session to be sure to answer your questions. We ask that you please use the Q&A tool on Zoom to submit your questions. Feel free to add them as they come up or save your questions for the end. And please note that the session is being recorded. Again, I'm Joelle Miles. I'm the program director for MASE. And I am joined today by my colleague, Beth Levin. Beth, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Beth Levin, and I'm the Director of Professional Degree Programs. So I'm part of the launch of this really exciting, new, innovative online program for Berkeley. So I'm excited to talk to you today. Thanks.
And although he couldn't join us today, I also want to point out Professor Tarek Zodi. Tarek is a member of our MASE team. He's a professor of mechanical engineering here at Berkeley, holds a number of leadership positions throughout the college, and he serves as the faculty director for our MASE program. So we're going to start off with an overview of the MASE program and then get into some of the details. So as I'm sure you know, Berkeley Engineering is an outstanding place to get an education. Our graduate degrees, our College of Engineering as a whole, as well as our individual departments, are consistently ranked among the best in the nation. And UC Berkeley has really built a College of Engineering in which we have deep strengths across all engineering fields, as well as extensive interdisciplinary collaboration among our faculty and researchers. And of course, one of the keys to Berkeley engineering success is our outstanding faculty. We have some of the best faculty in the nation, folks from all disciplines that are leading the world in their fields. Our faculty boasts incredible expertise and experience, both in academic research and in industry. And all courses in our Massey program are developed and taught by the dynamic and exciting faculty that make up Berkeley Engineering. With Massey being Berkeley Engineering's very first 100% online program, our faculty are really excited to bring a Berkeley education to you wherever you may be located. And our primary objective with the Massey program is to provide that Berkeley graduate education to engineering professionals and folks in other STEM professions in a format that actually works for them. So this is a professional master's degree. What you learn in this program is intended to be immediately applicable to your work as an engineer. Our goal is to help you accelerate career in the direction that you want. Our innovative curriculum will provide you with the critical knowledge and technical skills that you need to make your next career move, whatever that may be. And our courses are 100% online, self-paced, and flexible. So you decide what courses to take, when to make time to do them. And at the end of the Massey program, you'll have a master's degree from Berkeley Engineering. And as alumni of Berkeley Engineering, you'll join an incredible community of more than 73,000 alumni in every industry and all over the world. Let's take a look at the program structure for Massey. There are 24 total units required for the degree. And with Massey, most of our courses are 1 unit, with the exception of the capstone. This means that you get to choose 22 unique courses that best match your personal interests and professional needs. And Massey is designed to be taken part-time, but can also be pursued full-time if you prefer to finish faster. Depending on the course load that you decide on, you could finish in anywhere between 2 semesters and 4 years. We anticipate that most part-time students will complete the program in between 2 and 3 years. So of those 24 units that you need, course units that you need, this is how it's broken down. When you begin the Massey program, you're going to select a concentration. Within that concentration, you will take 8 required courses. In addition to those required courses, you also take 14 electives. These elective courses are entirely up to you, can be selected from any part of the Massey course catalog, including courses that are required for other concentrations. And then finally, your degree program will culminate with the completion of a capstone project in which you'll integrate and apply your new knowledge and skills to address a real-world interdisciplinary engineering challenge. So our Massey program currently offers these 4 interdisciplinary concentrations. If you've been watching the Massey program for a while, or if you've already started your application, you may notice that we've changed the concentrations a little bit. As we've been building out the courses, we're incorporating a lot of feedback from our faculty and other stakeholders in order to refine the program to make it as useful as possible to our students. If you review the course list on our website, you'll find that we still have courses in all of the theme areas that were previously listed in our program descriptions, but we have simplified the program structure and refined those concentrations to ensure that whatever concentration path our students choose, they'll get the technical skills and knowledge that are in demand right now. So again, here are 4 concentrations. We have infrastructure, energy, and the environment, electronics and systems engineering, advanced manufacturing and materials, and robotics and controls. So if you decide, for example, to pursue the robotics and controls concentration, this is the list of the 8 required courses that you will take. This is just one example, and we encourage you to visit our website to see the full list of all the courses that are required for each of those 4 concentrations. Just pause here for a moment. You can take a look at those courses. And then on this next slide, we have a current sampling of the elective courses in our catalog. So the courses listed here are not required for any concentration, but they are available to all students as electives. You'll see that these courses cover a variety of areas of studies, including bioengineering, data science, leadership, and more. So again, please visit our website to see our entire course list, as well as the courses required for each concentration. And at this time, I'd like to hand it over to Beth so that she can tell us more about the application process for Massey. and also share some advice on how to submit that standout application.
Great. Thank you so much, Joelle. I'm really excited to partner with Joelle on this program. And even though this is a new program, Joelle has a lot of experience with Berkeley graduate students as well as online degree students. So we've really made a lot of innovations with this program, but it is also, very much a Berkeley program. And that's really reflected in the concentrations, the courses that you'll see by the faculty here at Berkeley and Berkeley Engineering, and just the care and time that the faculty and our staff have put into launching this program is just really, really exciting. So I thank you again for your interest. So I'd like to spend some time giving you some tips and tricks to put together a really competitive application for admission for the April 1 deadline or later in the future. Thank you for submitting your questions in the Q&A. So some of those Joelle will be able to answer while I'm talking, and then some of those we'll save to answer live because we'll have plenty of time at the end of our formal presentation to go through a lot of your questions. So thanks again. All right, so to begin, I like to talk about the application process as a whole. So, many of you may have considered, going back to school for a few years now, looking at different degree programs in person and online. Some of you may be seniors in your undergraduate program and are looking for something to complement or launch you into your industrial career. But all of you have a lot to share with the program. So the application process is really to help you give us the most information and the best information to show that you will be a success in the program. And so that you both have a lot to get out of the program and a lot to give back to your peer cohort in the program as well, right? Because when the faculty committee is looking at applicants for a program, we're really saying, who will succeed in this program? And what is it about your educational and professional and research experience combined with your goals and the addition of this program is really going to make you a success in the future? Because it really is our goal to admit students who will have some sense of how they want to use the program, but also provide you with the tools and the guidance to really amplify the coursework, right? Because it's not just about coursework when you're in a program, right? It's about the interactions that you have with the faculty and your peers and the staff in the program. So this is really the context that we have when we're sitting down and we're looking at an application. So to also say that a little differently is that it is a holistic review process, right? So there's no, one thing we're looking for. There's no one profile of a perfect application, right? Everybody is different. So what we're looking for is for you to really just tell us about yourself and your unique contributions and experiences. There really, really is no right answer. We're looking for authenticity and passion in your application. So what does that really look like in terms of application requirements? So the way that you will be communicating your interest and your experience to us are through these items in the application. We ask for a CV or a resume. Typically, this should be about 1 page because it really gives us a great snapshot of your education, work experience, internships, research in 1 page. So ideally, that's a 1 page resume and gives us that nice holistic view of other areas in the application where we'll dive more deeply. We do require an undergraduate degree. So we ask that you submit unofficial copies of your academic transcripts. So those can just be uploaded into the online application. We recommend or we ask that you submit any and all relevant transcripts for coursework that you have that you see as a good prerequisite to the program. So we do require that your undergraduate degree is in a STEM field, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But if you also have coursework that you've taken outside of your undergraduate degree that's not on your undergrad transcript, for example, in statistics or math or engineering or computer science, because a lot of folks take those classes maybe through a boot camp or a community college or you're something adjacent to your undergrad degree before or after. We really want to see those too, right? Because those can only strengthen your application. So please submit any and all relevant academic transcripts and make sure that you have your undergraduate degree there as well. So talking about a STEM undergraduate degree, this is widely defined. So our faculty director, Professor Zodi, really wants to see a STEM degree because what this represents is a academic background that will be successful in the program because these are pretty intense graduate courses. So we want to make sure everybody's coming into with a foundation of quantitative and qualitative undergraduate coursework that will set you up to succeed in these classes. So a STEM degree, like I said, is defined really broadly. So I know there are a lot of unique majors and a lot of unique colleges with different names. So you can always ask our admissions advisor if you're curious if your major counts as a STEM degree. All right, so our application also includes 2 short essays, and I'll go actually in detail for advice with these. All Berkeley grad applications require these 2 essays. And really, this is an opportunity for you to talk to us about your goals and also any other qualities that may not come out in the rest of your application. But really, they're meant to be short. So they're each under 1,000 words. Really, a few paragraphs is totally fine, right? Because brevity, is really appreciated. And I'll talk about those in a moment. I also like to emphasize that we require 2 letters of recommendation. You'll see, many of you may have already started your online application, but you'll see that it has a space for 3 letters. We only need 2 for the Mass E program for you to have a complete application. So definitely don't worry about a 3rd letter. It will not be detrimental to your application to have 2. That's really all we want. So the purpose of letters of recommendation are for a 3rd party, someone that knows you well, but that you're not related to, who can comment on your capacity for graduate level engineering coursework. And I'll talk a little bit about advice for that too, because you can really set your recommender up to have a really easy time giving you a really thorough and complimentary letter of recommendation. And again, we want something here that is not reiterating what's in your transcript. So for example, a good letter of recommendation may be by a supervisor, either for an internship or in your work, but somebody who can comment on your capacity for graduate study. A letter is less helpful if it's, say, from a professor and you took a class and you got an A, but then the letter just says, hey, they took my class and they got an A. That doesn't give us any additional information to what's in your transcript. So choosing who does your letter of recommendation is important as well. Let's see. So regarding test scores, if you are an international student, which means if you earned your undergraduate degree in a country where the official language is not English, so that includes countries like India, then we do require that you submit a TOEFL or an IELTS score. And then we want you to take the test before the deadline. The official scores can be a little bit delayed, but we want you to have taken that test. And we require a minimum of a 90 on the TOEFL or a 7 on the IELTS. So that is a Berkeley graduate division requirement. That is the only test that we require. The GRE is not required. So while there is a spot and you could put that in, if you've taken the test and you think it is an addition to your application, you certainly can submit that score. But I do want to emphasize too, not submitting a score will not hurt your application. We definitely don't require it for a reason. Many studies have shown that the GRE test is not a predictor of success for graduate school. So many of our graduate programs at Berkeley have stopped requiring the GRE. But if you don't have, say, a strong quantitative background, and you want to show that you have that background, the GRE score, if you, like I said, if you've already taken it, can be a way to show that. So it really can make up for other potential deficiencies, but if you have a strong academic transcript, it's definitely not required. And then there is a application fee of, depending on if you're a U.S. citizen or permanent resident or an international student, of about $155 or $185 US. I'll talk about fee waivers in a moment as well. Now, before I transition to the next slides, I wanted to point out that we do have two opportunities to start the program. One is this fall, and that deadline is April 1st. Also, if that's a little bit too soon or you don't want to start in fall, the opportunity to start in spring 2025 semester, that application is open through July 22nd. So those are two opportunities for starting the program. Let's see. Oh, and then one more thing before I move on. In terms of academic transcripts, UC Berkeley does require a 3.0 GPA or equivalent to be eligible for graduate study. There is more information on how to calculate your GPA and especially your 2-year advanced course GPA on the graduate division website. And also, if you have an international degree and that it's not on a 4.0 scale, our admissions officers and advisors are very skilled in seeing that equivalency. So you can always ask us for advice on that as well. All right, so let's move on. So I want to talk a little bit about the value of the personal history statement and the statement of purpose, right? Because these are those two essays. Writing about yourself is always tricky and always hard, but it's a really great opportunity to sell yourself as a prospective student. So the value of providing both of these essays, right, is to introduce yourself and explain why you're seeking a Massey degree. And this is an important part of our holistic review, which means when the faculty committee looks at your application, we're taking into consideration your experiences, attributes, and academic metrics, as well as the value that you would contribute to learning, practice, and teaching. So with full control over what you're saying in these essays, you're able to share helpful information about the choices you've made in your life, and the goals you have for your future. So you can talk about your interests, specializations, career goals that relate to engineering and a fit for this program. All right, so what is the difference between these two essays? Let's talk about the statement of purpose first. So the statement of purpose is really probably the more traditional essay that you'll see, where it describes your career goals and how this program will meet your professional aspirations, right? If you haven't started your postgraduate career yet, talk about your interests and your skills, maybe any internships or really exciting coursework that you've done during your undergraduate degree. And you can also describe how you hope or expect to contribute to the field of engineering in the future. But really it's, why are you interested in the Massey and what are your goals? Again, the maximum word count is 1,000. Feel free to make it shorter than that, right? The important thing is that you are, communicating what you want us to know, but there's no need to repeat other areas of your application, like telling us what courses you took or what your GPA was, or summarizing your resume, because we're looking at all of those areas of your application. All right, so now the next essay is the personal history statement. And that is also no more than 1,000 words. It can totally be shorter than that. And these are the prompts here on this slide that the graduate division gives for this essay. So the way I like to summarize this essay is that, what do you want to tell the admissions committee that isn't in any other area of your application? Things like, overcoming barriers, unique opportunities, unique successes, unique failures, that sort of thing. So you could talk about, being the first in your family to either get an undergrad degree or to apply to graduate school. You could talk about when you started a startup in high school, right? There's a lot of different things. So this really is up to you and how you want to use this essay. And again, it really can be brief, but this gives us just another angle to looking at you as an individual. And again, there are no right answers. There is no one specific type of answer that we're looking for. So it's important to just be genuine and honest, and that will really come through. Those are the best essays that I see. It really doesn't matter, what it is you're talking about, but if it comes across that it's important to you, then it's a really great essay. All right, so for both of these statements, we can go to the next slide and talk about really, how you should approach both of these essays. Again, be succinct and brief. Go ahead and ask friends or family to take a look at your essay. Definitely edit it, right? We don't want to see any grammatical or spelling errors, because that would really just take away from the impact of your statements. And then, if you talk about how this program is a good fit, have you looked into the coursework? Have you looked into the concentrations and can tell us, really why those would help you in your career? All of those are good. All right, and in the next slide, some more tips. Again, just really important to be concise, be yourself, and proofread. All right, let's move on to the letters of recommendation. So this area of your application, it sounds like, oh, okay, I just ask some colleagues or faculty that I work closely with to do letters, and that's all I can do. I don't have control over it. but actually you do. You have a fair amount of influence over how these letters are written. So there's a lot you can do to guarantee you're going to get a strong letter, starting with who you choose as your recommender. So think about, who you work closely with, who knows you professionally, academically, and can comment on your capacity for graduate study. So maybe this person is an engineer themselves, has a master's or PhD in your area of engineering or any area, or professional experience as well. So it's more important that that person knows you and your accomplishments than their title, than they have an impressive title, right? What we don't want are any friends or family to write the letters. It really does, we want sort of a impartial third party. Your friends and family can, help you edit your essays. So you want to ask someone you work closely with, and you want to ask them early. You really want to give them plenty of time to put in a good application where they're not rushing, because the letters of recommendation are also due by April 1st. And what you can do is share your application materials. So you'll have your CV ready to go. Maybe you'll have drafts of your essays, even your transcripts that you can provide to your recommenders to give them a sense of, more information to say, hey, this person is going to do great in the Berkeley Mass program. What you can also do, which is really effective, is say, you know what? There are a lot of accomplishments that I've had while we've worked together, right? Or while I've been a researcher in your lab. So, hey, I've just provided you with some bullet point reminders of those great accomplishments that I've had, right? Because this person may have mentored a lot of students, may have a lot of, reports that work for them. So just helping them remember what your key accomplishments are, and maybe those are in your resume already, but just pointing those out, like specifically, what you've done with them. I think that's always really effective, because I'm like, oh yeah, like I forgot that we did this amazing thing, and then they can write about it in their letter. So, you definitely want to give them plenty of time, give them plenty of background information to do this letter. And then finally, I will say some folks get a little concerned that they won't get both of those letters submitted by the deadline, right? Because that is a little, out of your hands once you put your recommender's email in there. So sometimes applicants will ask for 3 letters and then expecting to get 2. So if you have a letter writer that's a little less predictable or may not meet the deadline, you could ask for 3 letters, but then once you have 2 by the deadline, then you're good to go. So that is one way to avoid not having a complete application by the deadline, if you're worried about that at all. But certainly, because this is a big ask of someone, if both of your letter writers are reliable, you certainly don't need to use that tactic. All right. So I mentioned briefly about the application fee waiver. So the graduate division at UC Berkeley offers a application fee waiver. If you are an applicant that is a US citizen or permanent resident, you are eligible for a fee waiver. And there's a couple ways that you can apply for the waiver. The first is demonstrating financial aid. So you would provide information to that effect. Or there are certain programs, often undergraduate programs, that you participated in that would help you qualify for a fee waiver just by participating in those programs. So there is information about that on the application, the online application, and that link is available there, and we can put that in the chat. Oh, Joelle already put that in the chat. So you can click directly on that and see that list of programs. Awesome, thanks, Joelle. All right, so I have just this final slide before we move on to audience Q&A. So if you haven't already, feel free to put some questions in the Q&A that we can address either by text or verbally. And then I'll wrap up here with what happens after you submit your application. So you both need to submit your application and then pay the application fee. Those are actually two separate steps in the process. And then you wait. And then while we're working here at Berkeley furiously to review all the applications. So you can check the status of materials, such as your TOEFL test scores or your letters of recommendation. The letters of recommendation status will come up live. Test scores, there may be a delay, so we ask for your patience in that because that is sort of manually matched. And then fee waivers, if you've applied for a fee waiver, the graduate division will get back to you, but it may take a little while as well. And that may be after the deadline. So I would just pay attention to that. And then if there's anything missing in your application, we will get back to you and ask about it. So if for some reason you forgot to pay the fee waiver or you're missing a transcript or something, we will give you a chance to turn that in. Let's see. So, depending on the number of applications we receive for Math E, it may take 1 or 2 months for you to receive a final decision. So we thank you for your patience in that process. And you can always email us with questions as well. So best of luck with your applications, whether you're applying for the April 1 deadline or for spring. And now we'll open it up for audience questions. And Joelle and I will take those and answer those live, or we'll type an answer. Let's see. Joelle, did you receive any questions that we should address to the audience?
Yeah, so we have a question about an undergraduate degree that was completed in 3 years, plus a graduate degree that was completed in 2 years. Knowing that the US standard is 4 years, are students in situations like this eligible to apply for our Mass E program?
Great question. So yes, we have a lot of international applicants to Berkeley. So we are prepared to evaluate something that is not a typical or not a US, 4-year bachelor's degree. Some countries, right, who have a 3-year bachelor's, if you have that additional master's, I would say most likely that means you're eligible for graduate study at Berkeley, but really it depends on the country. So you'd have to email us your specific country and degrees for us to double check. It's also true that for some countries, a 3-year undergraduate degree is appropriate. So it really just depends. So that's a pretty, like I said, that we see that a lot. And my guess is, right, that 3 + 2, which is 5 years of preparation, should be fine, but I can't tell you for sure without knowing the specific degrees, schools, and country. But that's something we do evaluate in the review process.
So another question that we've had a couple times from our audience is whether this program is appropriate as a springboard into a PhD program. And I would say that given that this is a professional master's, it is intended to be a terminal degree for students pursuing this. It is not intended to be a research degree or intended to be a step along the way to a PhD. We do believe that there is a lot of value in this program on its own for people who have goals of advancing their careers. But if you are looking to be a professor someday or you're looking to get a PhD, this probably will not be the program for you. We would definitely encourage you to look at other master's programs at Berkeley, typically ones that have a Master of Science designation, but some other programs as well. I know we have a Master of Engineering degree. It is on campus, but we have students that go for the PhD as well.
Great.
Let's see. other questions. Um, question about when the courses are offered, if the program is completed in terms, and if summer courses are offered. So yes, this program, we do align with the Berkeley semesters. So the courses are very much self-paced, but contained within an individual semester. For example, if you take 4 courses during the fall 2024 term, you will have the full length of that semester, about 15 weeks, to complete those courses. You can start anytime, end anytime, take the full 15 weeks, finish them in 5 weeks, any variation within that, as long as you're contained within that term. And we do offer courses year round. So we'll be offering a fall semester, spring semester, as well as a summer session.
Great. Let's see. I see a question about for interested prospective students who are graduating in May 2025. It says that do they have to apply in spring 2025 or could they apply in that spring or should we wait for fall 2025 applications? So if you're earning your degree in May 2025, the earliest that you could attend the program is likely fall 2025, but you would be applying during your senior year. It's also possible that you would be eligible to start that summer, depending on, yeah, I think you probably start the summer too. So we're starting with our first cohort in fall 2024, but we will have summer cohorts starting with summer 2025. So I would say either summer or fall would be appropriate for someone graduating in May 2025. Let's see.
Yes.
Is okay, I see a question here. Is there any specific number of seats who can apply for this program? And I would say, we are a brand new program, but because we are fully online, we do have a range of flexibility as to how many students that we can accommodate. We want to admit a class size that will have a great experience. So that will be, in direct relation to the number of courses that we'll offer each semester, but that will ramp up over each semester. So to be more clear, we don't have a specific target number, and there is some flexibility in that, we do want to, try to open the opportunity of starting this program to as many eligible applicants as we can, that we can accommodate in the courses that we're offering that semester.
Okay, we have a question about the robotics and controls concentration. Wondering about whether there will be physical kits that you're working with that are shipped to your home, or if you may be able to use robots on campus. I will say that for this concentration, the coursework is going to be the same as all of the other concentrations. It will be exclusively online. So all of the coursework, assignments, lecture information that you need will all be doable online. So there is not going to be a particular hands-on aspect of that course. It really will be more about the theory behind it. You'll learn about programming, different considerations, how these things fit into society, but not direct hands-on work with robots for this concentration.
Yeah, and if I can add, the idea of having a fully online program is really the accessibility in that it can be done anywhere at any time, but that you are getting this outstanding access to, the Berkeley faculty in the College of Engineering, which includes, office hours with faculty each time that the course is offered. It includes assistance from a graduate student instructor, and asynchronous or synchronous communication with the other students in these courses. But the other thing I will say, as a student of Berkeley, you have an open invitation to come to campus and use libraries and other facilities open to all of the students. But we've definitely made care so that that is not a requirement, right? Because that is an expense, and that's something that not all students may be able to do. The probably the most hands-on aspect of this program will be the capstone project. So that's that 2-unit course at the end of your program, where you're taking all that you've learned from your other 22 units, 22 courses, and synthesizing them into a capstone project. So when that time comes, you'll be working with our faculty director, Tarek Zodi, to scope a project, to come up with a project problem to solve, a plan, and then also to do this technical project, and then also to do a corresponding capstone report. And so we provide a lot of support in that process. And that capstone project, the hope is, if you are a working professional, or if you have a specific project that you would like to work on, that's the time that you'll really be able to do that. And it just really will be individual in terms of what that looks like. But you'll be able to work with a faculty to help define that.
Okay, and we have one final question. I think we'll wrap up here. Can someone with an undergraduate degree in engineering physics apply for the robotics concentration? Absolutely. We are looking for students who have a STEM background, including physics, engineering physics, other technical computer science degrees. So any type of STEM background is definitely welcome to apply for our program, and that includes any of the 4 concentrations. Okay, so if we did not get to your question, if you have additional questions that come up, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have enrollment counselors as well as our program staff who will be able to support you with any questions that you have. Please scan this QR code. You can be connected to make an appointment directly with an enrollment counselor. And also feel free to contact us as these emails listed here. And again, please keep in mind that our final deadline for fall 2024 admission is April 1st, coming up just right around the corner. Thank you again for your interest in Berkeley Engineering and Mass E, and we hope to receive your application soon.
Thanks so much, everybody. Good luck with your applications.